A shadow in the sweet retreat. Background. The cheerful tune fades. A slow, slightly discordant piano note enters, like a question mark. Narrator. The little house on the edge of the street, now known as the Sweet Retreat, was finally peaceful. The ghost spent his days inside, laughing with Sam, Mia, and Benny, reading old books, and admiring his vast candy collection. He was content, but happiness, they say, often attracts attention. One cold evening, as the first autumn leaves began to fall, a strange sound was heard near the house. It wasn't the wind, and it wasn't the friendly creaking of the old wood. It was a sharp, calculating tap tap tap, like someone measuring something. The ghost, wrapped in his white sheet, peeked from the attic window. Below, a man stood by the fence. He wore a heavy, dark coat, thick glasses, and had a severe, unfriendly face. He looked like he owned all the secrets of the world and hated every one of them. Narrator. This was Mr. Verma, a rich, powerful man from the city. He owned half the land in the town, and he had his eyes set on this last, valuable corner. Mr. Verma, to himself, sharp whisper. Useless old property, perfect for a new tower. But first, I need to get rid of the occupants. The threat. Narrator. Mr. Verma wasn't scared of ghosts. He was scared of delays and poor investments. The next day, he put up a huge, official-looking sign right outside the Sweet Retreat. The kids ran over to read it, their faces falling instantly. Sam reads aloud, confused. Notice of demolition. The building is, quote, unsafe, unauthorized, and must be vacated in 7 days. Quote, Maya, angry. He can't do this. This is the ghost's home. Benny, worried, pointing at the sheet ghost. Ghosty, what will we do? Where will you keep all the yummy candy? Narrator. The sweet ghost felt the familiar chill of loneliness creeping back. If they tore down the house, his last connection to this world, his home, his memories, his friends, would be gone. He had never needed his haunting skills until now. Ghost, invisible sigh. He doesn't care about a ghost, Sam. He only cares about the paperwork. The smart plan. Narrator. Mia, the cleverest of the group, looked from the intimidating sign to the ghost in his simple sheet. A plan started forming in her bright eyes. MIA, suddenly determined. He thinks the house is old and useless? We'll show him it's valuable. We'll show him it has a secret. Sam. But what secret? MIA, smiles, tapping the sheet. The kind that makes people look forward to coming here. We need to use what the ghost does best. Happiness and candy. Narrator. That night, the 4 friends started their secret project. They didn't try to scare Mr. Verma away. They prepared to dazzle the entire town. The sweet ghost, under the supervision of Mia, used his glowing, floating ability to carefully hang hundreds of the most colorful, shiny candy wrappers from the attic ceiling. Sam fixed up the old, dusty gramophone. Benny arranged all the lollipops in perfect rainbow order. They were building something new. The world's first candy museum, inside a haunted house. The sweet miracle. Background. Cheerful, slightly whimsical music swells. Narrator. The next morning, the children hung a hand-painted sign next to Mr. Verma's official notice. It read, The Sweet Retreat, town's smallest, happiest museum. Grand opening today. People were curious. They came to see the house that was suddenly colorful and welcoming. They paid a tiny ticket price, which Sam carefully saved. And when they stepped inside the dusty attic, they gasped. The ghost was floating right in the middle, still in his sheet, gently rotating. The ceiling glittered with thousands of wrappers. The gramophone played an old, happy tune. And on the table, the famous candy shop owner, who had come to help, had set up a beautiful display of fresh sweets. Narrator. The sweet ghost was no longer scary. He was an exhibit. The charming, shy mascot ghost. People loved the story of the old house that was saved by a secret love for sweets. They smiled. They felt warm. And most importantly, they bought a lot of candy. When Mr. Verma arrived with his demolition crew the next day, he found a line of happy families waiting outside. He saw the candy shop owner handing out lollipops, and the local mayor happily buying a ticket. Mr. Verma, furious to the mayor. What is this nonsense? This building is condemned. Get out, mayor, calmly. I'm sorry, Mr. Verma, but this quote, condemned building is now a successful local business and a cultural landmark. The town council has unanimously declared it protected property. You can't touch it. Narrator. Mr. Verma had to leave. The cold hard cash and cold hard rules of the town had defeated him. Not a scream or a spooky shadow. The sweet ghost watched him drive away, not with malice, but with a quiet understanding. He finally knew that the greatest power wasn't in fear, but in friendship and shared happiness. His home was safe, and this was just the beginning of a much sweeter story. Part 2. The Ghost's Story, The Secret of the Past. Background. The gentle music from the last part continues, but becomes slightly melancholic with a hint of flute. Narrator. Rat ke pichle pehar. Late at night, when everyone was asleep in their homes, the ghost silently came back to the attic. Moonlight was pouring in from the wooden window, and his shadow danced on the wall. He sat down and looked at his candy stash. Red lollipops, blue toffees, chocolates with golden wrappers. He looked at every candy with so much love, the way a person looks at their old memories. Then, he whispered slowly, "Ghost." Softly, introspective. "Sweetness. Yes. I always loved sweetness. But maybe I don't love candy, I love memories." And then, a sudden glimmer came to his eyes. For one moment, it was as if he had drifted into another time, another world. The past story. A child and his dream. Narrator. Bahut Sal Pele, many years ago, when this house was new, a little boy lived here. His name was Aiden. Aiden was a very shy, but highly imaginative child. He loved colorful things, especially sweets. His mother used to run a small candy shop. Every day he would come home from school and help his mother. He would arrange the toffees in the glass jars, clean the lollipop containers, and smile as he gave candy to the younger kids. His mother always used to say, "Mother," warm voice, "Aiden, your smile is so sweet, it makes the candy even sweeter." Narrator. Aiden had a dream that when he grew up, he would open his own magical sweet shop, where eating a candy would make people happy, where the only cure for sadness was just one toffee. The accident. Background. Music darkens, a sudden sound of thunder and rain. Narrator. Magar ek rat, but one night, when he was just 10 years old, a storm hit the city. The electricity went out, the rain flooded the roads, and a short circuit caused a fire in Aiden's mother's shop. Aiden tried to save his mother, but the smoke was too much. He coughed and screamed. "Aiden," a child's panicked scream. "Mama, I will go outside, just 1 minute." Narrator. But the door shut, and in the darkness, the fire and the screams. Aiden was silenced forever. The townspeople say that after that, no one ever felt a sweet fragrance near that shop. Only sometimes at night, a faint scent of chocolate and caramel would drift by. The ghost's reality. Narrator. Wohi Aiden, that same Aiden, over time, became the ghost. Not because he wanted revenge, but because he couldn't leave the thing he loved the most, candy. He would come every night, look at the colorful sweets behind those same windows, as if searching for his lost memories. Sometimes his mother's voice would echo in his ears. Mother, echo. Happiness increases when you share it. Beta, son. Narrator. And he would smile, but deep in his heart, a loneliness remained, the kind that couldn't be wiped away without someone to hold on to. New friends, new light. Background. Music becomes warm and hopeful again. Narrator. When Sam, Mia, and Benny entered his life, for the first time, life returned to Aiden's ghostly heart. He realized that friendship is also like candy, sweet, colorful, and heart-filling. He played with the children, told them stories, and sometimes shared the memories of his childhood. Mia often wiped her tears while listening to his stories. Sam would say, Sam, affectionately, "To tum hamesha se hi sweet the Aiden, so you were always sweet, Aiden." Benny, smiling. "Aflat tumhain darane wala ghost nahi, dostan ke beech rehne wala ghost ban jana chahiye." Now you shouldn't be a scary ghost, but a ghost who lives among friends. Narrator. Aiden laughed. Ghost, joyfully. Han, yes. Maybe it is time to share happiness, not fear. The final night, light and a promise. Background. Music becomes ethereal and gently majestic. Narrator. The night after Halloween, when the children were asleep, Aiden looked up at the sky. The moon was shining bright and full, like his mother's smile. A ray of light descended from the sky, and a warmth rose from his heart. His mother's voice was heard once more. Mother, final soft whisper. Beta, you finally shared happiness. Now, you are free. Narrator. Aiden had tears in his eyes, but peace on his face. He whispered, Ghost, content. Mama, I am not alone anymore. I have my friends. Narrator. The light absorbed him entirely, and as it faded, the air was filled with the clear, beautiful fragrance of chocolate and lollipops. The end, the sweetness that never ended. Background. Final, beautiful, emotional music piece. Narrator. The next morning when Sam, Mia, and Benny went to the attic, Aiden wasn't there. But on the table, a note was lying. Ghosty, friendship, is the sweetest candy. Never let it finish. Your friend, Aiden. Quote. Narrator. Their eyes were full of tears, but their hearts were full of joy. because they knew, somewhere in some beautiful light, Aiden was still smiling. And ever since that day, that old house was never called a Bhoot Bangla, haunted house again, but rather, the Candy Spirit House. Final sound, a gentle final chime like a candy wrapper falling. Part 3. The Return of Sweetness. Background. Music becomes nostalgic and calm. Sound of autumn wind and dry leaves rustling. Narrator. Kaisal Guzargay. Many years passed. The three children, Sam, Mia, and Benny, grew up. Life sent them down different paths. Sam had become an engineer, Mia was now a school teacher, and Benny, well, he became a small baker, whose specialty was the sweetest candy pizza. But with time, the memory of that old house, that ghost, and that special Halloween night never faded from their hearts. One day, when the autumn season returned, and yellow leaves scattered on the ground, Mia sent a message in the old group chat. MIA, via voice note, a little soft. Dosto, friends, tomorrow is Halloween. Why don't we go back to the Candy Spirit House? The house, once more. Background. Footsteps crunching on dry leaves. Sound of a distant, melancholic piano. Narrator. The next evening, the three friends walked down the old road and stopped in front of the same rickety house. Time had changed everything. The walls and doors were slanted, but the air still held that faint scent of sweetness. Benny said softly. Benny, hushed voice. Yad hai, remember. This was the place where we met Aiden. Sam smiled and said. Sam, reflecting. Yes, the ghost who could never scare us, but simply stole our hearts. Narrator. The door still gave that familiar creak. They slowly pushed it open. Inside, everything was dusty, but on the attic table, something was placed, a small, colorful candy box. On it was written, Kushi sirf bantne se batti hai, happiness only grows by sharing it. Thank you for coming back, my friends. Narrator. The three stood silent. Tears welled up in Mia's eyes. MIA, whispering, he still remembers us. Sam, softly. Aiden hasn't gone. He has just changed. A new beginning. Background. A sudden cool breeze inside. The chocolate scent intensifies. Magical chimes. Narrator. Suddenly, a cool breeze swept through the room. The chocolate fragrance deepened, and the candy box opened by itself. The small sweets inside began to glisten, as if light had been poured into them. Benny picked up one toffee, and that soft voice was heard again. The same familiar, sweet, forgotten voice. Ghost. Ethereal whisper. Friends never end. They just dissolve into memories. Sam smiled and asked. Sam, a mix of joy and sadness. Aiden, you are still here, aren't you? Narrator. A wave of light rippled through the air, and for a moment, the small smiling ghost appeared among the candies. Eyes shining, face at peace. Ghost, calmly. I did not come to see you, but to thank you. You brought me out of my loneliness. And now, it is time for me to bring light into the hearts of others. Narrator. And then he vanished, but left behind a strange warmth, a deep peace in the room. The Shop of Sweet Dreams. Background. Upbeat, cheerful, local Indian music starts, like a busy market day. Narrator. A few days later, the three friends decided to bring the house back to life. They cleaned it, painted it, and put up a new board. Candy Spirit, Sweet Shop of Happiness. This shop was for children, where every sweet came with a free smile. Mia told stories to the kids, Sam created magic with lights, and Benny prepared new, innovative candies. Sometimes at night, when everyone had left, a reflection of the ghost in the red sheet would flash for a moment in the shop's mirror, smiling, satisfied to see the happiness of his friends. Conclusion. The sweetness that lives on. Background. Music fades into a soft, emotional finale. Narrator. Time moved on. The shop became the most famous place in the city. People would say, people, muttering, the sweets here don't taste normal. They have the fragrance of heart. Narrator. No one knew that the fragrance was the promise of a ghost who loved not candy but friendship and love. And even today, when the shop closes late at night, sometimes a chocolate wrapper moves on its own, and a soft sound drifts through the air. Ghost. Final gentle echo. Mita mita har lamha, mita mera jahan. Sweet, sweet every moment. Sweet is my world. Narrator. The final message of the story. Sometimes, the softest hearts belong to those the world doesn't understand. Love hides even behind scary faces. And perhaps, every ghost's heart hides a memory, sweet as candy.